Since late March alone, we have received over 3,200 new documents, many of which have never been seen before by anyone outside of the administration, all of which should have been turned over more than a year and a half ago when the committee launched its investigation. Some of these documents, which were brought to light only days ago through a FOIA request by an organization known as Judicial Watch. The documents from Judicial Watch's FOIA, which were pursuant to our request more than a year and a half ago, show a direct White House role outside of talking points prepared by the intelligence community. The White House produced the talking points that Ambassador Rice used, not the intelligence community. In pushing the false narrative that a YouTube video was responsible for the deaths of 4 brave Americans. It is disturbing and perhaps criminal that documents like these were hidden by the Obama administration from Congress and the public alike.
What happened this week in Cairo, in Benghazi, and many other parts of the region
Tunisia, Khartoum,
was a direct result of a heinous and offensive video that was widely disseminated, that the U.S. government had nothing to do with.
We've seen rage and violence directed at American embassies over an awful internet video that we had nothing to do with.
And that is what we saw play out in the last 2 weeks. As a crude and disgusting video sparked outrage throughout the Muslim world. Now, I have made it clear that the United States government had nothing to do with this video.
This is a fairly volatile situation, and it is in response not to United States policy, not to, obviously, the administration, not to the American people. It is in response to a video, a film.
Ambassador Rice went on those shows and she said that the attack in Benghazi was rooted in protests over an internet video. We now know that that was not true, that in fact the CIA director, former director Morell just testified last month that, quote, when she talked about the video, my reaction was that's not something the analysts have attributed this attack to. It did not come from the CIA. You stood there at the podium time after time and said that she was referring to talking points created by the CIA. Now we see a document that comes from the White House, not from the CIA, attributing the protests to the video. And we have the former director of the CIA saying that that was not something that his analysts had attributed to.
When she talked about the video, my reaction was that's not something that the analysts have attributed this attack to.
It's wrong on all of those counts. It is in conflict with what we've been told, with what Jay Carney has been saying, and that is their story has always been this stuff all came from the CIA, from intelligence, so it was completely clean. Now we know from Morell, who testified under oath, he at the time was the deputy director of the CIA, that he never brought up the video, so it didn't come from him. That leaves only the White House and the State Department. We now have the smoking document, which is the White House saying, we're pushing the video because we don't want to blame it on the failure of our policies, which is what anybody who's looked at this assumed all the way through. There before an election, Obama saying, you know, Al-Qaeda is dead, GM is alive, Al-Qaeda is dead. He's running essentially the foreign policy issue on which the whole campaign is based, is one that says that he killed bin Laden, Al-Qaeda's on the run. So this undermines the whole narrative. Therefore, they have to invent the video. So I think this is extremely important. Now, I know what's going to happen. The mainstream media are going to say, oh, it's so complicated, and they're not going to look into this, and without it, it's going to be quite a struggle. I think the Republicans have something here that really ought to be looked at. I just don't know if there's going to be any interest in the mainstream media. They should, because this exposes a cover-up of a cover-up. The fact that it was redacted when the documents were asked for and only revealed by a court order is telling you this is a classic cover-up of a cover-up. And that
this country that we love will always shine as a light unto the world.